welcome to the kickoff of the summer mentoring series, which has Blue Diamonds and Presidential Diamonds around the world helping to make this summer the best summer ever. We're so gracious for the people that have volunteered their time, their talents, their treasures to go ahead and to block out time to do these on a daily basis. It's going to run through the end of August. I can't believe we're almost into June. My kids just got out of school, one yesterday, the other two today. Also to Jennifer Brady, who put this together. So we're thankful for this. This is sort of a new format with doTERRA running this page. And our goal is to help you learn some things, and many things you may already know, but to apply them and to help as many people as you can, including yourself. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I did write some notes because there were some, I put out a question about what two things, if you went ahead and did them or you learned them, would take your business and your life to the next level. And it got me really thinking about a few things, and I'll read through some of those. But we've got about 7 things that we're going to do in our time together. If you're watching the replay, we're excited that you're able to do this. If you're on live, you can go ahead and comment, but I'm going to try to go through this pretty quickly. And if we need to go back and answer some questions on the thread, then we can go ahead and do that. So it's 3 months. It's going to be solid presenters. They cannot wait for their turn. We've had some discussion on the Blue and Presidential page, and it was really cool to see people just volunteering to want to pour into you all. So let's get started. Summer is the absolute best time, and I think every day is the best day to build doTERRA and to use the products, but summer is the absolute best time, and let me tell you why. Because have you ever heard people say, well, you know, summer's kind of slow, and you know, the volume gets slow, and you know, people are busy and they're on vacation, and you know, we just don't want to bother them. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hopefully break that myth for you and give you a few things that you may be able to digest and help you form a different perception of what the summer can be. Okay, number one, everyone is more active, right? We live in North Carolina, so we do get all the seasons, but you know, it's amazing. I see a lot more of my neighbors during this time of year than I do in January or even December. We have some great weather year round, but it just seems like in the summertime, people are out. It's lighter and longer. My friends that live in Alaska really understand what this means, but they're more active. And here's the thing that you want to understand is that wellness does not take a break in the summertime. Okay, so people don't stop needing cellular support, and they don't stop getting boo-boos or anything. Actually, I think that is accelerated because people are out doing things. They're at the pool. They're skinning their knees. They're you know, there's so many things that they are doing and being more active. You know, the kids are not in a sort of protective environment in school. What I mean by that is, you know, they're maybe sitting at their desks for a while. Even if you homeschool, like you're doing things around the house. Like, you know, my kids will get up and they're out, you know, tearing each other apart in the backyard by, you know, 8:30 in the morning, right? So they're out doing things. You know, there's a lot more bug bites and bee stings and sore muscles and all that, I believe, in the summertime. Okay, so don't let that be something that takes you away from not only your dream, but helping people get natural wellness in their home and teaching them how to take care of their family naturally. Okay, other thing is you're probably at some point during the summer and maybe on sort of a regular basis, you're going to be visiting with people. You may be at swim team practice. You may be at the pool. You may be you know, on vacation, or you may be traveling, those types of things. And, you know, here's something you need to maybe ask yourself, especially if you're a mom. You know, we have a lot of moms and a lot of, you know, folks that are building this that have kids. And if you have some younger kids, and if you don't have kids, this applies to people that are on your team. But after about a week of the kids being out of school, all right, moms, are you ready to like they're driving you crazy, and you're ready to go find another mom to go hang out with, right? It's so funny. We hear that people are like, oh, you know, people are too busy to come to workshops and classes anymore. Like, they're too busy. And I'm like, I have yet to meet a mom that's too busy to have their husband put their kids to bed, right? Or to go and hang out and have some fellowship with another mom, like talk to somebody who's not a kid, and to get out of the house for an evening. You know, I tell people, it's like, you know, if I were the mom in our house, I would be at a network marketing event every single night of the week, okay, from 7 to 9, right, as my kids go to bed between that time. But seriously, you know, try not to use that as an excuse. We want to use the word full, right, not busy. Busy is a bad thing because you create your own schedule. So if you're busy, that's your fault. You need to figure out how you can work on that. We'll pause for a second because in the little poll that we did, time management, time blocking, sticking to a schedule was the absolute #1 issue that people have. And in all the coaching that I have done, that is typically the #1 thing that people need help with, because unless you have that down, nothing else really matters because you're not showing up to do what you're supposed to do. So a couple tips on that is there's 168 hours in your week, and you need to break that down by the hour. You need to figure out how much time, how much money you want to make in a year, and then break that down so you get an hourly rate. And then you just apply that hourly rate to everything you do, except date night or something like that. You don't want to get to date night and say, well, honey, you know, that was $673.12 to spend time with you. Not that. But we're talking about all the things that you do. Break it down so you can actually see that when you got in the car and you drove to Starbucks and you spent an hour of your time by the time you stopped an activity and then got back into flow and you're grooving with the activity again, it costs you an hour. You want to make $100,000 in a year. That's $50 an hour. It's a $5, maybe whatever you got it at Starbucks or wherever you went. That was $55 for you to take that hour for a break. Another quick thing on that is a lot of times there's an issue with time management because you've lost clarity of vision. And what happens then is that we have lost clarity of vision. We don't want to go ahead and do the job because that means we have to face rejection, right? So we do everything else. Like, well, let me go ahead and do this, and let me go ahead and I better make a Facebook meme, and well, I'll just go post this, and instead of doing the job, okay? So the other thing we have to remember about summer is that what we do now sets up our fall and our winter. Okay, so you want to have a rockin' December, crank it out now. What you do now, our sales cycle is anywhere from 3 weeks to 6 months, all right? There's a big range in there. And we need to make sure that what we're doing now sets that up, all right? Okay, so how are we doing so far? Is everybody with me? All right, so for those of you that want a little sales tips, that was called a closing question. So when you're teaching a workshop, you want to ask, how does that look so far? Can you see yourself using something like that? What do you like best about it? How it saves time, or it's something that's easy to use, or both? Okay, people tell themselves that summer is slow, and guess what? It ends up being slow. And you know why? Because they told themselves that. All right, so the first thing we need to do is we need to keep the job simple. All right, we do not want a bunch of people that are overwhelmed and have anxiety or to be compliant. Feelings of overwhelmed, okay? We don't want that. And we have to realize what our actual job is, right? So you're going to hear some amazing content, but I want you to put it in over the next 3 months in these 4 things that we actually do, okay? And this is how this works. What we do is we find people to educate and motivate to buy membership kits at workshops and one-on-ones. That's what we do, okay? That is the majority of our job. I don't care if you're a quadruple bazillion presidential diamond or you're starting in 2 hours. That's what your job is. Find and educate people to buy membership kits at workshops and one-on-ones. The next thing we do is we give people a 45-minute lesson on how to do a couple things, right? It's a 45-minute lesson. It's not 4 hours, 45 minutes. They have to get fired up about what they have, all right? It's called service on delivery. It's very common in the direct selling industry, okay? So they need to understand how to use what they purchased. They need to maximize their membership. You guys have seen webinars on this. to save the most money. And that's the ins and outs of how the membership works and standard order versus a loyalty rewards order. Get the product of the month, those things, okay? The next thing they need to know is they need to understand the wellness triangle and the implications of them not using all the products that they should be to maximize those scores. And we need to teach them how to order more, right? So they're basically buying everything that we sell, not every month, maybe, but to have that as their arsenal, all right? There's nothing more powerful than buying from your own store below wholesale, and that's what we get to do. And then the last part of that is we do a 3 pathways conversation to self-select new builders. Okay, if you do this process correctly and you keep it simple, people will self-select. You can spend a lot of time going recruiting, or you can look at the 82% that have never enrolled somebody in doTERRA and get them fired up about doing it, and they will want to do it. Okay, some will, some won't. So what? Serve the ones that will. And then after that, and they go, yes, I'd like to create an income with doTERRA. Then what you do is you teach the business opportunity, right? They have to understand what network marketing is, why would they want to own a business, and then why doTERRA. Okay, make sense? And then the last thing we do is we train and coach new builders and users through this process, okay? So that's what we do. You need to plug everything in, all training, everything into those 4 things. And if you spend 90% of your time over the next 3 months doing those things right there and getting really good at them and getting really good at teaching other people how to do those things, your team will absolutely explode. And they won't have feelings of overwhelm because they'll know what they need to do. And there will be a measuring stick whether they are doing well in it or not, okay? All right, so here we go. Okay, so the question would be, why don't the majority of people spend the majority of their time doing those things, right? Finding people to educate and motivate to buy a membership kit, right? Why aren't they doing that? Why aren't they doing lifestyle overviews? Why aren't they doing business overviews? Why aren't they, training and coaching new users and builders through this process? Why aren't we doing that? And it's a 4-letter word called fear, and it's another couple words called bad habits, okay? And we need to figure out how we can make that change, okay? So there's some fear that people have, right? It's too expensive, right? You hear that a lot of times with the larger kits, like, well, that's a lot of money, okay? Fear of bothering people. Does anybody ever get that? Where you say, my gosh, I feel like I'm bothering them. Like, oh, I don't want to interrupt their dinner. I don't want to interrupt them, their family time. If they came to a workshop, they'd miss dinner. Moms want to get out of the house. I promise you, they're dying to come somewhere. Please invite them. Fear that you might be successful, and then guess what? You got to keep performing, and people are going to expect that. And then you have a lot of stress, okay? We hear a lot in doTERRA about belief, and belief is really good. But I would propose to you all that what people really want and they need is confidence, okay? I think we all believe. We believe doTERRA is a good company. We believe the products are good. We believe that it would help people. We believe. If you don't believe that it's better than the alternative, then we need to have another training, right? People have the belief. Now, a lot of people don't believe they're good enough. They don't believe they're enough, and I'm here to tell you, you are, okay? But here's what happens is that we wait around for the belief. We wait around for some magical thing to happen, and we don't take action. And we get confidence from action, all right? I would take somebody who acts way before somebody that has a ton of belief, because you can have belief all day long. There's plenty of people that believe in doTERRA. They're not doing anything about it. And they don't have the confidence that makes it so you can't wait to get in front of somebody. And that's what you're looking for, where you feel that it is your duty, it's your obligation to get them to something. It's their obligation to share with them how they can create income so they're not stressing out, so their spouse can do what they want to do, so they can take time to go to graduations, go to ball games, go to different things. But here's where it really comes down to, is that you have to form the habit of doing the things that you don't want to do, even when you don't want to do them. And successful people don't want to do those things any more than anybody else does, but they form the habit of doing the things that they need to do. like prospecting, right? Like following up with people, like teaching a really good workshop. So you don't have to follow up and you can close them in a one-call close, okay? If you build value correctly and you're confident enough from enough action, you're going to teach and it's not going to feel good to you for the first probably 20 times. But after that, it clicks and you'll be really excited. So we've got to get good at those 4 main things, right? We talked about that. Teaching workshops. We've got to do lifestyle overviews. We've got to do the business overviews. And we have to coach and train new users and builders through that process. And when we continue to do that over and over and over, and you do that well, then you will have amazing confidence. But guess what happens to your team and your life? It grows. Okay. So if you're fearful, all right, and that's okay. If you're overwhelmed, if you feel stuck, or if you're rocking, you're in the right place, you're like, I'm right where I need to be, I'm cranking, I love this, then these next 3 months is for you. You're going to love this. The people that we have lined up are going to be phenomenal. And you're going to hear from phenomenal people with some amazing stories. And you're going to hear them and go, oh my gosh, why not me? You're going to hear it over and over. You're going to keep going, well, what's different about them? I can do this. But here's the thing. You've got to make a decision. You have to make the decision because there's 2 types of people in the world, right? One looks for a way. The other one looks for an excuse, right? It doesn't take any effort to make excuses, right? It's very simple, but it takes a person of integrity, of stick-to-itiveness, of somebody that knows that they need to do this to help people and find a way over and under and around to make it happen. And you can do this, and the fruit is really sweet, but we can't make excuses, okay? So what you need to do is you need to create a vision in your mind, right? Because you don't get what you want, you get what you picture. You create a vision in your mind of what you want. Why do you want it? How many people are you going to help? Why is it worth it to sacrifice in the short term to have what you want and deserve in the long term? Okay, so how do you want to feel when you arrive in Salt Lake on like September 13th or 14th, whichever day that is, right? How do you want to feel? You'll come into the convention one of 2 ways. You'll come in on fire, can't wait to see everybody, just it's awesome, you can't wait, right? Because you did what you said you were going to do and you hit your goals and you helped a ton of people and you didn't make excuses. Or you'll come into convention sort of with your tail between your legs and you're like, oh, you'll have the pain of regret. You know that the pain of discipline hurts a lot less than the pain of regret. So you've got to make that decision, and you got to make that decision before you go into the weekend. All right, you should make that decision now, but I want you to really think and feel about this because this is an opportunity for the next 3 months to hear from people that are incredible leaders. They're incredible people. They have been there. They've been where you are, and they are where you most likely want to be. If you're investing in the business, which you are, you probably want to be where they are for a lot of different reasons. Maybe community, it may be money, it may be time, freedom, whichever it is. But you have to figure it out, and you've got to get with yourself and figure out, how do I want to feel and what am I going to do? Because you know what? You're worth it, and now is the time. Right now is the absolute time. Here's the other thing. If you get procrastination objections during your workshops, classes, one-on-ones, or in business opportunity meetings, you are procrastinating yourself. People that don't procrastinate don't get the procrastination objection. They don't get it. Well, you gave me a lot to think about because they have formed the habit of not procrastinating, and they work with somebody and say, besides wanting to think about it, is there any other reason why you wouldn't enroll tonight? Okay, perfect. Let's just get this kit sent out to you, and we'll get this lifestyle overview scheduled, and we'll get it rocked out in the next week, okay? All right, what I want you all to do now, if you're not driving, okay? If you're driving, don't do this exercise. You can do it when you get home, okay? Well, the closing your eyes part. So everybody go ahead and close your eyes. And I want you to picture that you wake up tomorrow, June 1st, right? You wake up tomorrow and you go to, you wake up out of bed, right? And you're all fired up and you go in to brush your teeth, right? And all of a sudden you reach in your little bag there, or on the counter, whichever, and you go ahead and you're like, oh my goodness, what, Crest? Like, what's that doing here? And you're like, oh, this is weird. I must still be sleeping. I don't know. I must be dreaming. So you brush your teeth and kind of tastes a little funny. And you're like, oh, well, I probably need to wake up. Let me go ahead and take a shower. So you go ahead and jump in the shower, and you're still like half awake, and all of a sudden you reach for the shampoo, and you're like, oh, Krell, that doesn't make sense. Yes, they probably still make Krell. And but you're washing your hair, and you go to the conditioner, and it's got Krell again, and you're like, this is crazy. So you're like, all right, if I just jump out of the shower here and I go take my supplements, then I definitely will have some more energy. I've got to go ahead and do that. So you jump out of the shower, dry off, and you go ahead and get your supplements, and you open up a little cabinet, and you're like, oh my God, GNC and Flintstones. What's that doing here? And all of a sudden you're like, all right, I totally need some digestion now, because I think I'm going to throw up because I'm sick to my stomach. Like, I can't find my doTERRA. Where is it? And you open up, and there's Tums in the medicine cabinet. And then your day is, it's revealed to you there's no doTERRA in your house anymore. doTERRA's gone. It vanished. There's no more doTERRA. It's June 1st, and you're like, what am I going to do? Okay, so what I want you to do now is open your eyes. Some of you probably have been crying because it's such a miserable experience, and you don't know what to do now. You're like, oh my gosh, like what am I gonna use? Like, I'm ready for my oil regimens, and I'm ready for my probiotic, and it's like there's no doTERRA anymore. Well, that feeling that you have right now is a pretty powerful feeling, and that feeling was developed from you being a product of the product and understanding how to use them, and understanding the benefits, right? Understanding that if you don't do certain things, then there's some results that you may not want to have. You understand that your cells need proper nutrients, and your body
Hang on, looks like there's a glitch. My internet's glitching. Hang on 1 second.
no doTERRA in their home. And they don't feel the way you feel. And here's why. It's because you haven't taught them to feel that way. And you have to go find people and teach them. Because if you teach them what you know and what you will learn through the great mentorship and coaching that you have it's not going to be a Facebook post, or it's not going to be something like that. Okay, that's all great supplemental things. But there's people that are waiting for you. They don't know it yet, but they're waiting for you, just you, to teach them how to take care of their family naturally. To teach a mom how to take care of your discomfort at 2 o'clock in the morning so they don't flip out. To teach a dad how to use maybe some deep blue that will help with sore muscles because they started working out again. There are so many things that we can do to give people confidence in their homes. So when something happens, like when our Thomas jumped in the pool, hit his chin on the bottom of the pool, and jumped out and had a slit in his chin, and we were prepared. All we had to do was, I looked at it, I took a picture, I texted it to the doctor, because we had a relationship, which is also important, with medical professionals. And he said, it's kind of on the verge, like, bring him in. Okay, so we bring him in, I start the clock. And we bring him in. We weren't freaked out because we had tools to use. He ended up needing some stitches. So I'm using some nice little doTERRA products in there. He shows up and he just got done working out, like still sweating, and have, shorts and running shoes and all that. And goes ahead and stitches Thomas up. And I'm putting balance on his feet. And then we're using all the other awesome things as well. And lavender, frankincense, and those yummy things. And we're back at the pool in 45 minutes, right? Now, what would have been the alternative? Because I told you about the time when we needed stitches. I didn't tell you about the 3 other times we didn't. And the money we saved and the confidence. We're down at the beach. Similar thing happens again. This time, we didn't need that. And we had the education and we had the tools, because Karina Salmons called my wife at 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night, and back in 2009, and asked her to watch a webinar. And it goes by Justin Harrison. And had she not reached out to do that, then I can't imagine what it would be like for us having to have that June 1st experience. People don't think it's a big deal because you haven't taught them, and you need to go help them, right? People are counting on you, and there are certain people that only you can help. So one of the things I want to leave you with is something that has helped me in my sales career, is something about the law of averages, and realizing that your job is to just go talk to people, right? Make a list and cross people off the list, right? You need people to teach, you need people to enroll, and you need people to tell you no. And you need all 3 to have a good day. Who's next? It doesn't matter. When you put your self-esteem in your work habits and how well you serve people, and not in your production, not in your rank, because your rank is never as important as who you become in the process. And there are just as many amazing stories from people that just got started a month or 2 ago, because they may have been using products for a while, as somebody who's been doing this a long time. We're all in a place to help people. It's the #1 thing when I talk to people that are like, I'm not sure what I want to do with my life and all that. I'm like, well, what do you want to do? You know what they say? I want to help people. So we have the opportunity to go help people. Make sure that the people that are in your circle, the people that are on your list, on your chicken list, on the list you haven't made yet, on the list you made you haven't called yet, make sure they have the opportunity to learn about what we do. And those that are already using, make sure they understand the business opportunity and see what happens when you present that with passion, conviction, and you really care about that. Okay, so we love you all. We're thankful that you're entrusting us with the next 3 months. You know, we're looking forward to seeing everybody at convention, and make that decision. We want to see you fired up and rolling into convention because you did your best. Don't compare yourself to everybody else. Do your absolute best with the time you commit. If it's an hour a week or an hour a month, or it's 30 hours a month, whatever it is, just go ahead and do your best. And I promise you, you will get paid. And it may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but you will be paid eventually. We'll talk to you all later, and have a blessed day.